Custom flute presets and harmony plus in addition.
Welcome everybody. I hope you're doing very well indeed. Sorry for the delay, technical issues. We're going to give it a couple of minutes for people to show up. Get comfy, make sure you got something to stay hydrated. Let's get started in just a second.
I put the genie bass on, so my left hand can play the choir with 16-foot diapase on, and Larry's patented orchestral symphonizer. Banjo's great on repeat. The kids want to play, but they'll have to be patient. The wife can't help tapping her feet. It's a genuine home entertainment revelation.
State of the art. Listen to the difference. By use of a computer.
Hello everybody, how are we doing out there?
Good. How are you?
Good? Very well, thank you very much. So good to see some familiar faces here. This feels odd because we haven't done this in a year, but it feels so good to be back in this generative, beautiful, unfolding space of curiosity and generosity and just creativity and everything. So thank you so much for coming back and joining us on Creative Quests. This is our 13th edition of Creative Quests. 13, unlucky for some, but lucky for us, I think, because we have got a whole month ahead of us of exploring the creative unknown. There's nothing more lucky in life than that. To have the opportunity to come together in this kind of collective way, it really is a special thing. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Sam Finesse. I am the founder of Creative Quests. I'm the person that's been emailing you. I have been exploring this practice of questing for 9 years now. It will be a whole decade of questing this time next year, which I can't quite believe. And it's been 4 years since we've been doing this in community. It really started out as a lockdown experiment in what would it look like in this time where we're all trapped in our houses, if we could all explore together in this kind of immersive curiosity filled way. And it's kind of just snowballed from there into this amazing global collective of people who also want to explore new pathways. So our first session today is really all just about orientation. It's about meeting each other. It is about kind of understanding what the quest life is about and getting to grips a little bit with what the month will entail. So I'm going to run you through a little bit about the sessions that we've got this month, the things that you can attend, the different ways that you can enact. What's the word I'm looking for? You can, I can't remember what word I was going for, that you can play in Creative Quests. And then we are going to meet each other. You will quickly learn that the group, the amazing minds in this group, you are the authors of this experience, and I encourage you to connect with as many people in this group because it seems to have a habit of just attracting the most amazing people from around the world. Then we're going to start digging into our perceptions of our theme of sculpture. Obviously, you've only just found out just yesterday what we will be exploring this month, and I'm sure that everybody in this Zoom room has different opinions, different maybe even reactions. There's probably some excitement. I would be amazed if there wasn't some sort of, oh, sculpture, really? But that is what Creative Quest is all about. It's kind of as much as an unlearning journey as it is a learning journey. I think sculpture, I mean, I'm biased. I think sculpture is good fun. And I think, you know, for those that have done Creative Quest before, we approach themes in a very 360 different kind of way. So don't worry, we're not aiming to be Michelangelo, freeing human forms from blocks of marble by the end of the month, although maybe. Okay, and then, yeah, we're going to set you some missions for the week ahead. I should say right now that although it might be me leading these sessions, there is a whole bunch of people in the Creative Quest ecosystem that make this whole thing possible. We've got our HQ team who are just a huge amount of kind of imagination and organization goes into the whole Creative Quest project. Sparks, Aliena, Hannah, and Annie, love you all. We've also got some contributors this month. Melanie Knight is our archivist. She's going to be running our amazing communal journal, which I'll talk about in a bit. And we've also got Alison Blair, who is helping out with some of the mission design. So thank you to both of you. And also Gemma Perkis, who's not here, not actually on this quest, but she designed the theme reveal artwork. So shout out to you all. The Creative Quest is very much a collective effort. Okay, so while we're all here, what are we doing? So, whoop. This. Can you still see the thing that says January's theme is sculpture?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. Fantastic. Okay, well, here we are at the beginning of this brand new Creative Quest, exploring sculpture together. So welcome. Creative Quests, for those of you that don't know, is a worldwide playground and community for people fueled by curiosity. We believe that creativity lives in absolutely everybody, and that we all have the capacity for imagination, for playfulness, and for bringing our ideas to life. We think that creativity extends far beyond the realms of making, and we think when we're living truly creative, curious lives, that we can bring a more beautiful, connected future into being. And we envision a future that is filled with playful, curious people that are channeling their creativity towards a more connected and just world. And our route to this kind of future that we believe in is questing. So questing is a navigational practice for your creative life. The concept is beautifully simple. It's about immersing your curiosity in a theme like sculpture for a defined period of time. In our program, it's a month, but you can go on quests whenever you like. You don't need to wait for one of our programs to let you go on a quest. Through questing, you will discover new pathways, ideas, and actually ways to live a creative life. And if you commit to it, questing will change the way that you experience the world around you. So in the last few years, we since 2021, we've hosted several months-long collective learning journeys, exploring different themes, guiding people through our questing process. So you can see in our first chapter, we explored everything from poetry to color, to time, to magic, rewilding, everything. And we took a break last year after magic to explore some new pathways for what Creative Quest could look like in other formats. Very, very proud to say that we crowdfunded our first book. kind of Creative Quest in book form is coming in late spring on the theme of magic. And we hope that this program, and certainly past Quest programs that we've done, will inspire future issues of this. The Quester's Guide is basically our kind of book version of a Creative Quest. And along the way, we have built the most amazing crew of people all around the world. As I said, Creative Quest just has this amazing way of being a magnet for people that want to explore their creativity a little bit differently. And, you know, I really take my hat off to you for taking that brave plunge into the unknown. Because on the other side of it is intercontinental friendships, new creative projects. We've had people reimagine career paths, be lifted out of feelings of depression, and just generally been left with an overall renewed optimism for life, which I think right now we can all do with a little bit of. The world is a funny place, and Creative Quest really exists as a kind of slice of hope in amongst all of that. So this year we've got 4 quests, this first one in Jan/Feb, and then we've got 3 more in April, July, and October. Yeah, so we hope you'll join us maybe for future sessions. So over the course of this month, the main places that we will kind of be meeting all together like this are our inspiration sessions. So session 1 is really all about orientation. I don't need to tell you too much about that. Session 2, we're really going to be kind of beginning to, I guess, really like looking into the curiosity of the group and thinking about how can we make a theme like sculpture, which is quite a massive theme, how can we make it more personal and more easier to navigate for each of us? And we call these kind of roots rabbit holes. So we're going to be helping you define your rabbit holes next week. But these first 2 weeks are really all just about learning and absorbing. Don't worry too much about creative projects or anything like that. Just enjoy the feeling of experiencing the world a little bit differently. Then in our second sort of half of this is really when we start shifting that energy from learning and absorbing to experimenting and bringing to life. So you would have had a few weeks of getting to grips with the things that you find interesting in the world of sculpture. And in session 3, we'll introduce you to our guest Quester, who we're actually going to be announcing later this week. They are an absolutely phenomenal person from an incredible organization. And our guest Questers are people that are really deep on the theme that we're exploring and will help us understand the theme of sculpture in a whole new way. Session 4 is called the Quest Lab, and this is really where we encourage you to and give you the tools to help you turn inspiration into action, so that in the final week of this quest, you will enact some kind of thing, moment, creation that is a kind of something that has come out of your exploration. And then our final session is called the Ripple Effect, which is really all about thinking about how this might carry into the future and thinking about the time that we've had. We also, every Thursday, they're at different times each week, we have a thing called campfires. So they're different to these inspiration sessions. A campfire, they're an hour long as opposed to these 90-minute sessions. And really they're a time to get to speak to questers in a more intimate way. We usually have about 10 or 12 people turn up to our campfires, and we explore a different topic in the world of sculpture or whatever our quest theme is. So really recommend you come along to at least one of these, maybe more if you want to, but I would say 1 or 2 is perfect. This Thursday is in a more sort of US friendly time. Next week, it will be at 6 p.m. and it kind of goes between those 2 times. But this week is all about statues. So we're going to be thinking about stories of maybe like local statues to where we grow up, and thinking perhaps about if we were to put statues up in our neighborhoods, who might they be of? So yeah, I realize with Creative Quest, there's always a kind of a steep learning curve a little bit with some of the tools, Notion and Discord. For anybody that is having any trouble with that stuff, please stick around afterwards, because I'm going to do a full kind of Q&A, help desk, anything you need to help you get set up on Discord, to be able to contribute to our communal journal as well. Okay. So I'm going to do a little vibe check as well. So, and then we're going to get into meeting each other. So if you explore a quest with these kind of attitudes in mind, you're going to do just fine. And the first is beginner's mind. So beginner's mind is a Zen Buddhist concept. It's called Shoshin, which says that in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, where in the expert's mind, there are few. So I guess the world that we live in tells us, you know, get expertise, mastery. But actually, when it comes to kind of creativity, or even just kind of, I guess, living a life of evolution, actually, even if you are really skilled and masterful in something, still embracing a beginner's mind, it just opens up so many possibilities, because you kind of see things in the ways that they could be, not the ways that they quote unquote should be. So with this beginner's mind, use that when you think about sculpture. Try and loosen your grip a little bit on your perceptions of what you feel your relationship to sculpture might be in a creative way. The second is that the world is your studio. So don't just wait for these sessions for your quest. This quest is a whole month long. If you treat it like a month, it will be a month. If you treat it like 5 online workshops, it will be that. Get out into the world, find sculpture in the world around you, book a trip to a museum, book a class, you know, get out there and explore. The third is that everyone's coming into this with a personal intention, but it really is about communal energy. My reason for questing might be different to Sharon's reason for questing, or Sparks' reason for questing, or whoever. But so bring that personal intention with you, but, you know, make sure that you get involved in the group stuff too, because otherwise you could just be doing this on your own, and these people are amazing. And finally, stay playful. This is not about mastery, as I said. This is about having a good time. We're here to quest. Questing is a naturally playful way of exploring your creativity. I'm going to pause there for a minute and have a little look at the chat. Oh, thank you so much, Anna. I love that. It does match my branding. So I think we could probably do just like shaking it off a little bit before we meet each other. So maybe let's actually, do you know what we're going to do first? I want you to get a fresh page in your notebook. Okay, fresh page in your notebook. And I would like you to write down something that you have maybe brought into this session with you in a kind of somatic or kind of brain way. Maybe there's somebody annoyed you at work, or maybe you're worried about an upcoming something or other, something that's got a bit of weight on you. Just get that down on your piece of paper. Just absolutely anything. You don't have to write about why it's making you feel like that. Just write down what it is. Okay. So as you come out of the last letter of the word of whatever you've written down, I want you to, okay, Amy, we're going to just write down something that we're carrying with us into this session, something that we maybe want to shake off a little bit, an annoying email or anything, something that's kind of you want to get rid of, and so you can be in this space of creativity. And when you get to the end of that thing that you've written down, I want you to just keep your pen just going on this piece of paper and just scribble that thing right out. Just really enjoy the feeling of your pen, just scratching whatever that thing is. Just get rid of it. Get rid of it until you literally cannot see that thing anymore. Enjoy the sound. And then when you fully cannot see that thing, I want you to start moving that scribble energy up your arm, okay? So you're kind of moving it up your arm a little bit, and it's getting into your shoulders. Still scribbling, and maybe move your legs a little bit. Okay, that's good. And move your head. You can shut your eyes. This is a real exercise in just letting it go. That's it. Oh, and just shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Maybe even make a noise with it. Okay. Oh, and a deep exhale, an inhale, and an exhale. Okay, we need that. We need to get rid of that. And, you know, we need to get used to looking silly in front of each other, because we're all beginners here. None of us, as far as I'm aware, well, actually, maybe we do have some professional sculptors in the group. Do we have any professional sculptors in the group? No? Maybe we do. Okay, so your pen stopped writing. There wasn't a sign. Well, you can scribble it out with your body instead, Monica. So we are going to jump into breakout rooms for just over 15 minutes, so we can all meet each other. So yeah, just over 15 minutes. So you are going to have 11 people in your room each. And each of you has 1 minute to introduce yourself, where you're from, and why have you joined Creative Quests? You know, why have you joined? Everyone here is for different reasons. What are you hoping to get from it? Maybe you can say a little bit about your theme reaction to, but remember, you've only got a minute. I will hop between the rooms, but in each room, I'm going to need somebody to nominate themselves as a timekeeper, okay? Because we don't want to get to the end of that 15 minutes and not everyone's had their chance to introduce themselves, okay? And I know that Zoom breakout rooms are like the 5th dimension of hell, but not in Creative Quests. They are somebody here, I think it was Justine, on one of her testimonials once wrote that Creative Quest breakout rooms are the only breakout rooms on the internet that she enjoys, and I think that is a great testimonial. So can you put the two of you?
I exist twice. I'm so sorry.
Anything is possible in Creative Quests. We have somebody breaking the space-time continuum and existing in 2 different places at once. Okay, so your name, where you're tuning in from, why you've joined Creative Quests. Let's get and write this stuff down. You know, don't worry if you didn't meet somebody this time. There'll be plenty of chances throughout the next few sessions where you'll get to know everybody. So we're going to go until 15 minutes. We'll have 15 minutes. 15 minutes. And you've got 1 minute each. Okay, open. So unfortunately, this is where we had a bit of tech issue. So what would have been in the recording right now is going into the breakout rooms and meeting a bunch of the different questers and hearing their introductions. But unfortunately, some stuff happened and we couldn't do that. But if you want to meet people, come to the sessions, get yourself in Discord, come to the campfires on Thursday, and I promise you'll be able to catch up in no time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to working with and meeting all you guys. Hey, Sam, perfect timing.
Was that the end?
Yes.
Is that the last person? Okay, perfect timing. Well, I don't need to introduce myself again. Sorry if there was weird stuff where could you all hear me chatting away? Was that? No. There was some weird stuff going on in some of the other breakout rooms, could hear me and I wasn't in their room. It was very odd. So yeah, Monica, you've started a trend of people existing across spaces and times, and So yeah. Okay, I was
Yay,
just
I'm not the only one.
I just wanted to check how everyone was doing on time, but everyone's introduced. I'm just going to go check on the final group, and then maybe just you can just share initial one-word reactions with each other to the theme reveal of sculpture, and I'll see you back in the main room in just a second. Goodbye.
Just make,
Yeah.
but not for income, I guess, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
Hi,
Welcome,
Sam.
Sam.
What's
Hey,
up?
Sam.
How are we doing?
We're having a free-flowing conversation, so if you want to check in.
What are you chatting about?
Things that we've made, if anybody's done any sculpture and what they've made and yeah, stuff like that.
I have never done. I don't think I've done any sculpture ever.
What about
Ever.
a snowman? Have you made a snowman?
That's true. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking about it in too sort of rigid a way.
Yeah.
Made a
Yeah, I
couple
think
of
so. I mean,
snowmen
we had a
in
bit of snow a couple of weeks ago. I thought it would never make anything, but the kids up the street were like, "Oh, yes, it will." I think they scraped up the whole street to try to get a snowman done. So it was very cute.
Is it snowing where anyone is? Good. It's got to be snowing where you are.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's not wet.
All
Dry.
nice and fluffy.
It's dry.
It's too dry and cold.
Okay.
So if it's
Ice
like a bit
sculptures.
rain and snow, then you can make a snow.
Okay. Okay.
0 degrees.
Too powdery. Got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, I think everyone is done. So I'm going to take everybody back into the breakout rooms. But I would love to know your one-word reactions to the theme of sculpture.
Bring it.
Bring it. 2 words, but we'll take it.
Exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Everyone's leaving. Let's go then. But now we are going to dive into our theme of sculpture. There's probably within this group different feelings about sculpture. Some of you probably thinking, oh, that's an exciting thing to explore. Some of you probably thinking, oh, I'm not so sure about sculpture, but a creative quest is really as much about a kind of unlearning journey as it is a relearning or learning journey. We're trying to, over the course of this month, soften our associations and our assumptions a little bit and think about, well, what if actually I do find interest or maybe in sculpture, maybe I'm even good at sculpture. So I'm going to kind of set the scene a little bit for our theme. So sculpture. It's a brand new year, a new opportunity for us to build a playground of possibility and navigate the obstacles of obligation in our calendars. In this upcoming exploration, we're sure to learn a thing or two about the spaces that we inhabit. January's Creative Quest theme is sculpture, as you know. The art of shaping, forming, and molding a language that speaks through space itself, a dialogue between material and maker. In true Creative Quest style, we're going to venture far beyond the world of marble busts, bronze plinths, and carve out a fresh understanding of this ancient art form and its relevance to our creative lives. We're going to look at the forms and objects of our everyday environments with a renewed curiosity and blur the lines of where sculpture begins and ends. And in the little bit of research that we do before these quests, came across this amazing quote from Rodin, who is kind of one of the most celebrated sculptors out there. And I just loved it because it, even from somebody that has, you know, achieved such mastery and acclaim in the world of sculpture, I love the sentiment of this because it really just embodies everything that Creative Quest is about, and the idea that the world is your studio. Where did I learn to understand sculpture? In the woods by looking at the trees, along roads by observing the formation of clouds, in the studio by studying the model, everywhere except in the schools. And I love that because it also brings in this idea of beginner's mind that we spoke about earlier too, that actually, you know, in a school, it's about learning what is right, what is wrong, what has happened, blah, 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 blah. Whereas out in the real world, things are always changing. It's about your relationship to your surroundings and the conversation you have with your environment. And the idea of clouds kind of being a teacher, that got me. Nice one, Rodan. So this month we challenge you to go beyond simply noticing and embrace the imagination of your hands and venture down the pathway of making things. Mastery is not the objective here. Playful experiments definitely is. In a world dominated by screens and pixels, sculpture invites us back into the physical realm, reality. And we're going to revel in that tactile feeling of clay or Play-Doh or whatever material it happens to be in our hands, and maybe thinking twice before we chuck out those cardboard boxes into the recycling and thinking, I wonder if this cardboard box has one more identity left in it. So this creative quest is your invitation to take what's raw, unformed, or overlooked and keep experimenting until perhaps it's our own creative spirits that we are sculpting. So that's really just setting the scene. This is not right or wrong. It's just kind of painting a picture of what's to come. But really, you are the author of this experience. And when you're going into a creative quest and in this learning journey, it's kind of important to give yourself a bit of a grounding and think about what are your existing perceptions of the theme. So we're going to run an exercise called throwing paint at the wall, which is basically a fancy term for word association. So I'm going to put 5 minutes on a timer right here. And over the course of that 5 minutes, I want you to take a fresh sheet of paper in your notebook. And over that 5 minutes, I want you to just absolutely empty your mind of all of the associations that you have with sculpture. So we've got some prompts here up on the screen. So this, you might think of, who are people that you associate with sculpture? What are some memories that you associate with sculpture? Maybe you went to a sculpture park when you were little. Maybe you went to one last summer. Maybe you made a vase at some point. I don't know. It could be anything. Books, communities, there's all sorts of ways that we kind of map out our associations and perceptions with things. These are just there to prompt you, but do this in your own way. You can write it as a list. You can write it as a mind map. It's totally up to you. Whatever suits getting ideas out of your head and onto the page. Don't edit yourself. This is not about right or wrong. The beauty of this exercise is how different people's assumptions or associations are. So this is really about quantity, not quality. Quantity. Not often you hear that, but it is about quantity, not quality. So I'm going to put 5 minutes on this clock now. I'm going to play a bit of music in the background, and I just want you to get all of those associations that you have with sculpture on the paper as possible. So get yourself nice and focused and settled. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, you've got 30 seconds left to get as much out there as you can. Okay, so that is your time up on that exercise. How did you find it? Did you find that your brain was a little bit sticky? Were lots of things flowing? Did you surprise yourself, perhaps? All normal stuff. So what we did now in the session is this exercise. We always go then into breakout rooms, and the task is very simple. Is to just one by one read your lists to each other, and just read them through. And the role of the people not reading is to listen, listen and really think about how different somebody's perception is of sculpture in this case to yours. And if anything that person says pops up that you think, that's so interesting, I never would have seen sculpture like that, or they've prompted you to be like, oh yeah, of course, write it down on your list. Okay, but I don't want you to write it in the same pen or anything like that. Like, make it look different. So either put a line or a circle around the stuff that you've already done, or grab a different color pen. And those new perceptions, your partner's perceptions that you're adding, they are fresh. You can see that they are by just being curious and listening and asking questions of somebody else's perspective, that is then expanding your own viewpoint. And this idea of asking questions and being a sponge for other people's perspectives is something to take with you through this whole quest. So we're going to breakout rooms now. Enjoy.
Dab, crack, tomb-like, juicy fruit gum smell, giant jelly baby, minuscule tower block, wood buttocks, maquette embryo, delicate herd of cats, too hot to touch, amphibious slippery, dropping to ocean bottom, monolithic, Natsuki, finger covers, dog toy, train set, topiary, jello, and kintsugi.
Did you say delicate herd of cats?
Yes.
Cool.
Interesting.
Okay. Wow. That was the brief bit I got of that was just so
Disturbing. No kidding.
Disturbing. No, it wasn't disturbing. I'm just like, could you read out a couple of them again?
Cheek cooling, dermographic, cement smells, cracked tomb like juicy fruit gum smell, giant jelly baby, minuscule tower block, wood buttocks, maquette embryo, delicate herd of cats, amphibious slippery, Netsuke, finger covers, train set, topiary, Jello, kintsugi.
Run me through amphibious slippery.
In what way? That's
In-
the whole thing.
As in, is this a memory that it's connected to?
Yes.
Is it like, okay,
Yeah,
wow.
these are all memories.
Yeah, that's so cool that you go down the sort of memory path. Mine
Mm.
was so practical. Amazing. Aggie, did you want to read your list?
Yeah, but I've taken a completely different approach because,
That's the whole point.
yeah, I know, but my background's art history and I'm a hobby painter, and I get very excited when I see sculpture. But for me, it is very much related to art history because I'm a huge fan of Bernini. And for me, everything started with Bernini. I know you mentioned Rodin in one of the infos you put out as a modern sculptor, but for me, Bernini is like the greatest ever. So Bernini is the first thing that comes to my mind when I think sculpture, and then I'm thinking of fountains, of the people he created, and the sculptures in churches, and the feeling that I get when I see a sculpture in a church, that it brings back this. It's sort of very mysterious, but at the same time, I'm totally amazed, and I find what they're trying to express super, super strong, and especially because I have studied a lot of the Italian masters, and I've been to the big places in Rome and Venice and Florence and also in Madrid. There's just I have I don't know really how to I get a different feeling and a new amazement every time I look at these old masters and what they have created. And I remember I was on a mountain expedition once, and my book of choice at the time was The Agony and the Ecstasy, which it deals with Michelangelo and what he's created. And that was very interesting to read while I'm looking at the Himalayas. To me, is another form of sculpture in a way. And just now, my very recent thing related to that is I've just come back from Antarctica. And when you see these icebergs and the formations and the way they have been sculpted by nature, that's a whole different idea yet again. So for me, it's really vast. This whole theme is really out there. It's, what can I say? Very vast.
Sculpted by nature. Yeah, I love that. I was thinking that just this morning. I live on the coast now, and there's like chalk beds on the coastline where I live, and it's on one of the kind of the corners, like the peninsulas. There's these I'll post them in our Discord, but these absolutely incredible chalk beds that honestly, like if you changed your perspective and kind of looked at them down, they almost look like canyons, but they're this kind of high. They're rock pools.
Yeah.
They are the most just impossibly beautiful, irregular shapes. So smooth. And it just, is amazing that nature is a sculptor, really.
It is. I feel very much. Yeah.
Okay. I love these, how different these are. Mine is also different.
What's yours?
First thing I wrote statues and public space, and how some statues kind of become problematic over time because of the people that they are, the
history.
Antony Gormley and the Angel of the North, that was kind of like the art. I thought about the art world and just how kind of cold the art world can be, and sculpture to me feels quite rigid somehow, and like maybe because I don't know enough. Anyway, I'll read my list. Yeah,
It's
Rome and
all-
Italy.
Yeah, so it feels
Thought
old.
about sculpture and being kind of a precise, like I think of it as quite a sort of precision-based thing. Your hands being mucky and like covered in clay and material. Thought about different kind of forms of bronze, marble, clay. Thought about the kind of ready-made, you know, surrealist kind of thing and abstract stuff like, you know, the urinal. Thought about like kind of recycling materials. I've seen some amazing kinetic sculptures, you know, sculptures that kind of move that are amazing. Thought about the sort of tactile nature of sculpture, totems, and also just where sculpture ends and like architecture, playgrounds, everyday objects, like where does those things start and end? Yeah, that was it. Oh, and Rome in Italy. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. For me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All very different.
Very. Yeah. It's
I think
amazing.
I got the assignment wrong.
No, you didn't. You just did what you didn't get it wrong at all.
No. I should have spoken about Barbara Hepworth or somebody like that.
No, you didn't get the assignment wrong. You got it bang on.
Yeah.
Delicate Herd of Cats is incredible. What I love this image. It's
a piece. It's extraordinary piece.
It's called that.
No.
I love it.
No.
Really, really good.
What it looked like to me.
So we're gonna go back into the main room.
Thank you.
But very interesting to see how these are different, and I've written these down, so thank you for adding to to my own list, and I look forward to expanding this over the course of the month.
Bye.
All right, I'll see you in there.
Okay.
So after this breakout room, we went back into the main room and we began to start sharing as a wider group things that surprised us about other people in the group's ideas toward sculpture.
I have to give a perception change thanks to Hannah and her brilliant question asking, but in the middle of her list, she had, what are statues looking at?
Oh,
Which lingered.
What are statues looking at? What do they witness? Oh,
Yeah, Hannah, dreamy question. Thank you.
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, in our group was very different. Mia was totally based around memories and quite I just was like, wow, I love the fact that you went so sort of personal. There were two things that stood out. One was Delicate Herd of Cats. What a phrase. Describing, I believe, a sculpture that she had seen. And another great phrase, Amphibious Slippery. So good. And then Aggie's was all really about the art world and art history, because that's kind of like her background. And I just loved how one was so like rooted in personal memory, and then Aggie's was so rooted in like historical memory and figures and stuff. I thought that was really cool.
Sam, can you say that cat thing again? I need to write it down because it sounded amazing.
Yeah, I think it compulsory. Everyone writes this down. Delicate Herd of Cats.
Thank you so much.
I need to see this. It's so good. We've got time for another share if anyone wants to share from their group.
If I can just add, because you obviously were in our room, and what I said was whatever gets sculpted by nature, that is something I'm quite fascinated with.
Yeah, that was a great one.
For example,
the landscapes sculpted by the seasons. Absolutely. So hopefully your page is looking like an expanded thing. If it was a list, you've got some more things on your list. If you've got like a sort of mind map, you got like lots of other colors on there. We all do these things differently. So that is really just kind of a small, I suppose, like exercise in just growing our perspective and what can happen when we actually choose to participate in ideas and imaginations outside of our own. So I hope you'll take this spirit of throwing paint at the wall beyond these Zoom rooms out into the world, because the world is your studio, as we've established. So what I thought would be good to do now in our sort of last 20 minutes, in about 20 past, I'm gonna share what our missions will be for this first week. But until then, I thought it'd be great for us to think about what our kind of individual intentions and hopes are for this month. So in every quest, we get people to write a quester statement. So a quester statement is really thinking about, it's not so much about the theme, but more like the reason that you signed up to a creative quest. Is it because you're looking to be more intentional with how you spend your spare time and not doom scrolling? Or it might be that you're searching for creative community. People quests for all kinds of reasons. And it's really good to get this stuff down on a piece of paper, because if you're ever feeling a little bit lost along the way, you can think, why am I doing this? It's because I want to meet more creative people. So you can think, okay, I'm going to make sure I go to all the campfires, and I'm going to get really stuck into the sessions, and I'm going to go to that clay modeling workshop in the next city along, or whatever it is, you know? So I would like for you just to spend 5 minutes just writing, totally just in free flowing stream of consciousness. What do you hope to get from this experience? You're not going to have to read this to anybody. In the past, people have shared their quester statements in the Discord, which has been really nice. But yeah, it's up to you. It's up to you. We'll create a space on there so that you can do that if you want to. But yeah, 5 minutes just thinking about, what do you hope to get from this creative quest? Okay, your time's up there. So, what I would love for you to do now is think about, could you sum up the general sentiments of your Questa statement in a word? This word will be our each individual North Star words. So, and this North Star word, again, is something to come back to. If your North Star word is play, keep playing. You know it's there because you wrote it down. So we are going to share these with each other. So when you've settled on what your North Star word is, for really the spirit, the attitude that you're bringing to this experience, drop it in the chat so we can, yeah, we can get a read. Do, make, unexpected, expand, intent, open, build. These are great. Freedom, movement, appreciation, dig. That's a great one. Expansion, wildness, clarity, explore, light, beautiful, commit. Yes. Big yes. These are great words. Challenge from Kristen, inquisitive, observe. So much diversity in words here. I love it. But there's all action oriented. Add. Yes. Brilliant. Deconstruct. Love that. I feel like Vera and Sparks need to collab. Vera's adding, Sparks is deconstructing. If that happens, it just means that there's constantly nothing. Play. Carve, relief. Oh God. I have a theory, Jamie, that relief is like the best category of feelings. All the best feelings are relief related in some way. So it's a different conversation for another time. Maybe we'll do a relief quest, but just thought I'd put it out there. Materials, symbolic objects. Oh wow, love that. Carrying on the magical explorations there, Mia. That's cool. Brilliant. Keep these North Star words close to your heart, because yeah, they're useful. And remember, this creative quest is about, as I said, it's not just about these sessions. It's about all parts of your life. Immerse yourself in it over the course of the next month. Think about what TV shows, if you're having, right, I'm going to have a Netflix evening. Is there anything on Netflix you can watch that's about sculpture? Or you're going to go to YouTube and find some esoteric sculpture documentaries or anything, just like resculpt it all. You are the sculptor of your own perceptions this month. So missions. Right. So this first week is really all about creating magnetism. So what I mean by that is that you're inviting the quest theme of sculpture into your life. And there are simple ways of doing this through being intentionally curious. So we define intentional curiosity as consciously seeking new perspectives beyond the boundaries of your experience, past interests, or belief. There is a difference between being curious and choosing curiosity. When we choose to be curious, we are venturing beyond our kind of comfort and interest zones. And when we choose to be curious about something, we weave intention into everything that we do. As a result, we create this kind of magnetic field around a certain subject, sculpture in this case. And with time and dedication, we begin to feel like we're kind of in conversation with the world around us. When we have this intention, we begin to notice things that we wouldn't normally notice. We begin to appreciate things that we might usually overlook. And in this conversation, our curiosity and questions are really met with inspiration and at times, I think, a pretty profound sense of feeling more connected to the world around you. So your challenge, or our collective challenge, but your individual challenge too, is to immerse your attention in sculpture. Let it shape the micro moments of your day, the content you consume, the conversations you have, the places you go. And this is how every day can become an opportunity for a creative adventure. So as I said, each week we're going to set you some missions. These are kind of little creative challenges to fulfill. So follow our prompts each week and take your time with them, but do not be limited to these missions. They are a guide from us. If you've come up with a great idea for how you're going to explore sculpture, go do it. And hey, maybe even share it with us so we can do it too. And yeah, find ways to build your own irresistibly powerful magnetic field. So your first mission is to announce your quest. There's a lot of power in telling somebody that you are exploring something that you maybe don't have a huge amount of experience in. Maybe this doesn't have to be a big announcement, doesn't need to be on, don't need to be in a town square or announcing it from the rooftops. This can be something that you drop into a group chat, or you do on your LinkedIn, like, hey, I'm on a creative quest this month because I want to explore my creativity and curiosity. It's on the theme of sculpture. What do you know? Tell me, I'm curious. You would be amazed at the amount of stuff that has come about in creative quests over the years because of simply putting it out there that you're curious about something new. People reaching out that you haven't heard from in years saying, hey, my sister runs this thing, or, oh, I just watched a documentary on this. Check it out. Just put it out there. People really, really value the vulnerability of saying that you're exploring something new. All of these missions, by the way, they're going to be, I'll email them to you tomorrow. They're going to be in the kind of the Quest hub on Notion. That's where all the content lives. I'll also be posting them on Discord. So don't worry, you don't need to write all this down. I will send it to you tomorrow. So mission 2, take sculpture for a walk. Set aside an hour of your day and just walk with sculpture as your compass. Where do you begin to notice it? Are you beginning to think of, wow, these haven't noticed that building feature before? Or as Aggie said, maybe you're a walk in nature and is making you think about the sculptural qualities of a landscape. Do it intentionally once this month, but take this kind of mission as really just something to do throughout your whole quest. Whenever you're somewhere new, especially if you're doing it in, I don't know, you haven't taken sculpture for a walk, maybe in an evening or in a nature space versus city, like mix up where you're doing this over the month and just pay more attention to the world around you. So mission 3, this is really kind of expanding on our sharing our lists with each other. People are portals. So I want you to speak to 3 different people that you know about their sculpture associations. Maybe mix up the type of people you speak to. So maybe one of them is a kid. Maybe one of them is somebody that's older than you. Maybe another one is a colleague. Just mix it up. And because as we can see, when we ask these questions, our curiosity is met with inspiration. Third, so this isn't really a mission for this week. This is really something for the whole month. And it's really a way of kind of keeping track of your, where you're finding inspiration. So I want you to have 3 lists that you keep this month as best as you can anyway. One is keeping a list of things that you've done for the first time. I want everybody in this Zoom room to have done something for the first time that they've never done before by the end of this quest. Hopefully more than that, but 1 at least. Quests create questions. So you might suddenly be thinking, where does architecture begin and sculpture end? Maybe that's a new question for you. Write it down. And finally, illuminations. So an illumination is a moment that really lights you up. It's a feeling of deep inspiration or perhaps even surprise. It's where your perceptions are shifted in some way. It's cast light on something you hadn't noticed before. Illuminations can come in any form. They could be a conversation you have. They could be a piece of art that you saw. a quote online, absolutely anything. If something really lights you up, write it down, because it's in these questions and illuminations that often the sort of fragments for great ideas exist. And at the end of the month, we're going to share our illuminations and our firsts with each other, and it's like a beautiful just waterfall of these mini moments. It's a special thing. And finally, this is really just the spirit of the whole quest as well, is just let sculpture be your guide. By the time we see each other this time next week, we really just want to understand, like, we've widened our lens on the kind of sculptural world a bit more. So those are your missions. As I say, they will be in the wrap-up email that goes out tomorrow. You have Dali sculptures on the street where you live. Ah, amazing. I love that. That is lucky for you. Okay, so we're wrapping up now. But I wanted to share something with you. It's actually a little preview of our upcoming book, The Quester's Guide, which is coming out in May, hopefully, if we stick to our deadlines. So we really want to grow the idea of what a quester is. So we're kind of playing around with this idea of a quester kind of character. So I'd like to introduce you to this quester, and by introducing you to this quester, I'm kind of also introducing you to yourself and how you'll move through the world this month. So a quester is a perpetually curious character who dares to explore the creative unknown with a playful intrigue and delights in sharing their discoveries with others along the way. A quester is alive and awake to the possibilities of human expression and the magic that can occur when we choose to participate in worlds that we deem outside of our own. And each week, I'm going to share with you a few different qualities of a quester relating to their anatomy of all things. So a quester's eyes are always wide open with wonder, always seeking extraordinary in the ordinary and seeing the world differently. A quester's spine. Oh no, that is not what it's supposed to say. Oh, here we go. Quester's spine, courageously exploring the unknown and saying yes to adventure. And knees, crouching down and examining life's details, ready to leap into new adventures.
Sam, did you want to share your screen?
Oh, can you not see my screen?
No, I can see your screen.
I can. Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
maybe it's just me. Never mind. Continue.
Okay. So this is our quester. So over the course of this month, if you ever get lost and you're thinking, I don't know what to do with my time, think, what would a quester do? What would a quester do? Amazing. Before we go, I would love to get a photo or a screenshot with everybody, if that's cool. Okay. So on the count of three, say quester. 1, 2, 3, quester. Oh yeah, actually, maybe give me some hands or something. Give me some hands. Give me some hands. Give me some expressions. What does a quester look like? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Amazing. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to stick around here for as long as people need to help you get set up on any things like the communal journal, or anything like that, because I know some of this tech stuff is a bit of it's a bit of a learning curve. Do you know what? Actually, I might just quickly share this. So this is a very important part of the month, the communal journal. So everyone has access to this, right? It's basically a kind of hive mind of research. So to go on here, you basically click here, you sign up, it's totally free, and you can edit it. So this is empty at the moment pretty much, but at the end of the month, this will hopefully be full with stuff. So if you come across a great quote about sculpture, dip it in here. There's already some that have been added by current questers. Maybe there's a podcast that you want to listen to we've got one in here. What is sculpture good for? From the Royal College of Art. We've built incredible archives of research around different quest themes that mean that you should never, ever be bored again. If you're thinking, oh, how should I explore sculpture today? You can literally just dip into the communal journal and hopefully there'll be some ideas in there. So please, please, please commit some things to the communal journal. Melanie Knight, our archivist, is going to be curating this as the month goes on. There's a little playlist here of sculpture related songs that you can add to. It's a whole thing. It's a whole playground of inspiration. And that is it. Thank you, everybody. Our campfire is this Thursday. It's this Thursday at 10 p.m. UK time. It's on the theme of statues. Yeah. It's a lot of speaking in session one. It's a lot of speaking in session one. How are we feeling? We feeling pumped? You can unmute, you know. We feeling good? Give me some.
Yay.
Okay, good. Okay, good. All right. Well, look, thank you so much, everybody. I'm excited to quest with you. Get into the Discord, introduce yourself, get in the journal, and look out for my email tomorrow morning because it will have all the missions in there. And if you need any help on the tech stuff, I'm gonna be right here till whenever you need me. But if you don't need me, peace out. I'm looking forward to exploring with you this month.
Looking forward to it.
Nice meeting everyone.
Bye. Thanks,
Bye.
Sam.
Bye, 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 bye.
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 Bye, everyone.